Satek rhymes with attic. Satek Winery was Northeast Indiana's first winery, opening in Fremont back in 2001. And Jason is here to tell us more. In just a minute, we're going to talk about what you have coming up starting tomorrow and through the weekend. But I just want to walk through, as wine continues to grow, and I think I say this every time, the old Dave Barry joke, the problem with wine is you had to talk about it before you drank it.
Before you drink it.
But now with beer, you have to talk about that too, because it's, become all crafty.
It has blended, pun unintended, together. People want more and more complexity. They want more nuance. They want more choices. And so you've got a lot more opportunities, and beer included.
How many different varieties will you guys do in a year?
Boy, as far as actual wines we do, I wouldn't know the number, but it would probably be in the high teens or whatever. I mean, you're always trying to do something new. One of the most common questions when somebody comes into the tasting room is, what's new? But don't mess with my favorite. So you got to expand in both directions without changing the middle.
So the best seller is still
sweeter wines. Lakes Red, Blackberry, Raspberry, Mango. Those tend to be our four best, but they'll also do wines which are award-winning and great tasting, but don't sell anywhere near as fast.
And my gut, which of course I think is completely wrong, would say that sweet wines just are younger, maybe they haven't fermented as long.
Perhaps there are some. I mean, that's not a bad launching off point, but there are certainly sweeter wines that can age longer. A lot of times drier wines have more complexity. It takes longer to do them. You spend more time blending them and keeping them in barrels and doing things that not necessarily you would do with a sweet wine.
And but is any of it then go back to the grape makes all the difference, or?
The irony is, even if you want a good dry wine, a lot of times you want a sweet grape because you're fermenting the sugar in the grape to produce the alcohol that makes it a stable product. So it's sort of a symbiotic relationship.
And so how much of this, in your opinion, is getting the grape part right?
It's one of the sort of standards in the industry that you make good wine from good grapes. You can't really make, you can make bad wine from good grapes. You can't really make good wine from bad grapes. Maybe you can make good spirits or something.
Okay, gotcha, yeah. So we're looking at the collection that you brought here.
Yes,
can you walk us through this?
Absolutely. These are the wines that we're doing for our Spring Spectacular starting tomorrow. I'll jump the lead a little bit. Chardonnay, one of the most popular wines in America. Larry's Luscious, it's a name from my father. It's a blend of 3 Indiana-grown grapes, dry red, Meritage style, I like to say. Pam's Perfect is a semi-dry red blend named for my stepmom. Steuben is also the name of the county, but they're both named for Friedrich Wilhelm Ludwig Gerhard Augustin von Steuben, Prussian general. It's a white Zin comparable. We think it's better. We have a blueberry, and we have Autumn Classic, which is 8 varieties of apples from Stroh's Orchard in Angola. So it's all apples, no grapes, neither is the blueberry.
All right.
I stunned you with my verbiage.
Pretty much. I'm still getting over the name. How do you say Steuben's
Friedrich
name
Wilhelm
in German?
Ludwig Gerhard Augustin von Steuben.
Steuben. All right.
He's a character.
Blueberry, apple, is the technique going to be different, take longer?
There's differences. Every fruit has something different to it. Blueberries are honestly a lot more like grapes than most of the other fruits. The other fruits all have their characteristics, but apples have a different acid altogether. It's malic acid versus tartaric and some of the other ones. So you have to do your research to do the wines, and I'm glad I'm not on that part.
How much work do you do? Because again, this is always what happens in the wine movies. You work hard,
soaring music,
and then you don't exactly in the clouds and the beauty, and but then you don't know that it's a bad batch or whatever until years later.
Very possibly. I mean, you're always doing tasting. You don't want things to get away from you. So if it's bad, hopefully you know it beforehand. If it's bad, I doubt you would bring it out. I mean, it's one of those things that if you bring it out, it's kind of too late at that point. So you want to make sure that the wines you have represent what you want them to be.
But you can tell that early, like when it's when you crush
if you know there's a problem, yes. I mean, a lot of times we're doing samples in the vineyard of the grapes to know what we're working with. Now, the final one, random sampling is tough. People have to close their eyes and pick from different parts of the grape clusters, because when you're doing it with your eyes open, you're picking the pretty ones. Ooh, that's a pretty one. Ooh, that's a pretty one. And so your sample may not be representative. So you want to make it a random sampling so that you're better equipped to do the chemistry that you need to do for your wine.
So from grape cluster to grape cluster, even grape to grape, they can taste different.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Like a banana. You get a bunch of bananas and some of them are bigger, smaller, whatever.
That would drive me crazy.
That's why you crush them up and deal with the result, because you're right. If you microcosm it too much, you probably do get frustrated.
All right. Well, we want to talk about what's going on this Friday and Saturday. There's going to be a Fork and Fiddle food truck up at the Satek Winery. We'll get to that in just a second. What it's like to visit and what you need to know before you go and all that kind of stuff. Stay right there. We will be right back on Insight.